Every day we see something new happening on the court in basketball, whether it's Stephen Curry with another three-pointer or LeBron James with another slam dunk. What we don't usually see is basketballers fighting with their team off the court. The same is the story of Ben Simmons, who filed a report against his team for cutting his salary, and it looks like that story has come to a settlement. Let's find out more. First up, the parties have settled. The long-awaited case has been finally settled between the Philadelphia 76ers and Ben Simmons as the former guard filed a grievance for a portion of the $20 million that the club owed him as a year's salary and didn't pay. While it was a very long fight, both parties have come to a confidential settlement that will not be revealed to the public. That's a lot of money, and we'd fight for it too. As a result, Simmons demanded that he be traded as he was no longer on good terms with the team. Reports have also revealed that the three-time NBA All-Star didn't report to the 76ers at the beginning of the contract because of a holdout from his request for a trade. When he did report to the team after, he simply refused to play. Now, that's something we wouldn't expect from a professional, right? The Philadelphia 76ers revealed why they're cutting the star's salary, saying that $2 million were withheld because Simmons didn't show up at training camp to indulge in the activities that he was required to participate in. They also cut $360,000 for every game that the star missed, as it was a breach of contract. Simmons says that he was out due to mental health and shouldn't have any of his salary cut because of that. The 76ers had given the star a $177 million five-year contract, and if he isn't even playing, then isn't that money going to waste? Next up, what impact has this case made? While Simmons made it clear that he wanted to be traded, the Sixers eventually did exactly that and traded him to the Brooklyn Nets, which gave the Sixers a former MVP and exceptional player James Harden, along with four-time NBA All-Star Paul Millsap. Other than Simmons, the Brooklyn Nets also received Seth Curry and Andre Drummond in the exchange. One thing we can say for sure is that the era of Simmons and the Sixers is at an end. The case just doesn't end without any losses, and the timing couldn't be any worse. Why, might you ask? Well, Simmons has apparently still not played a single game with the Nets due to a sore back and has remained off the court. What's worse is that there is no set date as to when he will return. We believe the NBA should focus on how to deal with players with mental health issues so events like this don't occur. Regarding the timing of his injury, the Brooklyn Nets were desperately hanging on to a ledge as they were in a tie with 9th position Charlotte Hornets and 10th position Atlanta Hawks. What this means is that if the Nets start losing the remaining 5 games of the season, they would eventually be kicked out from being able to play in the playoffs. While Seth and Andre are giving exemplary performances, the Nets needs Simmons to be on the court if they want to save themselves. Moving on, what do fans and sports journalists have to say about Simmons? While Ben Simmons still appears to be off court, there are people who have noticed this and aren't afraid to raise their voices in anger. Sports television personality Stephen A. Smith ripped apart Simmons, saying that he feels bad for anyone who was ever his teammate. He pointed out that Simmons quit on the Louisiana State University, the 76ers, and now is also quitting on the Brooklyn Nets. It seems to us like Ben here has a history of quitting on his teams when they need him. The sports radio host went on to say that anyone can point to the excuses, and Simmons filing the grievance was not acceptable because he didn't earn that money. The Indiana Pacers legend Reggie Miller was also enraged and said that the Brooklyn Nets point guard had zero competitive fire and that he needed to man up. At this point, we're also convinced that Simmons is playing a dirty game. If you think this was enough thrashing, wait till you listen to what the fans have to say about the point guard. One of the fans said that they wouldn't be surprised if Ben opened the game and went on to dunk in his own basket. Now, that's what we call a right hook. Another fan said that he'd been a Sixer for many years, and even though the fans have given Simmons the utmost encouragement, he's still playing the victim role. Seems like everyone is pretty upset with Simmons, and we believe it's for the right reasons. And lastly, what's next for Simmons? It's been 1 year and 2 months since Simmons last showed up on the court to play ball, and even when he was traded to the Nets, he still didn't show up. It's sad to see because he remains the only player in the history of the NBA to average 16 points, 8 assists, 7 rebounds, and 2 steals per game, along with a field goal percentage of 55+. The amount of talent this man has. Unfortunately, this attitude of his will not get him anywhere near the championship that we believe he can achieve with the powerful gifts he has by his side in the form of Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. His negligence has already caused a lot of problems for the teams he's played for, and it won't change unless he sets a goal to become better, instead of filing lawsuits, or else all his talent would be wasted at his own hands. What's next for Simmons is up to him to decide, and we would really like to see the star flourish on the court and lift his first championship trophy. What about you guys? Let's move on to the latest news and updates. First up, NBA Global Games is officially back on. The pandemic is finally behind us, and with most of the world vaccinated, organizations are resuming operations and events. Back after a 2-year hiatus are the NBA Global Games, and the fans are dying to see their favorite stars perform in their city. As we all know that it isn't easy for people to travel, and with 70% of NBA's social media followers residing outside of the United States, it is only sensible sensible to bring the game to their home country, and that's exactly what the NBA has been doing. Preseason games are all set to take place in Japan and Abu Dhabi, while Paris and Mexico City will be hosting the regular NBA games. The excitement is in the air, and we can sense the thrill among the fans. To be at a live game, to feel the same energy as thousands of other fans, that's a different kind of feeling. Despite telecasting to 214 nations globally and being available in more than 50 languages, the NBA Deputy Commissioner Mark Tatum said that live overseas games are an essential part of their business strategy, and we gotta say that it's an excellent way to connect with the audiences and make them feel special. He also announced that this is the first time that Killian Hayes will be playing in his home country, and that is going to be tremendous. Up next, we've James Harden, who's clearly on a mission to be in the best shape of his life. The 76ers guard has been putting up some insane pictures this offseason, and we have to say he looks chiseled. The 32-year-old has often struggled with being physically fit in his career, but it looks like this season he'll be at his optimal best. The player is committed to Joel Embiid and his team. He recently took a pay cut to allow the Sixers to sign PJ Tucker and Danuel House. We have to say that he's as loyal as they come, and we hope all his hard work and effort results in the one thing he really wants, an NBA championship. And finally, the NBA 2022-23 schedule is out, and it is right on time. The game season begins October 8th, which gives fans plenty of time to figure out which games they'll be able to attend and which ones they'll have to see on TV. The games will be broadcast on TNT, making it their 39th consecutive year as NBA coverage partner. The opening night will see the 76ers versus Boston Celtics and Golden State Warriors against the LA Lakers. The entire schedule has been put on display on the NBA's official website. Make sure to check it out so that you can plan your game schedule accordingly. We are thrilled for this season and can't wait to see what each team brings to the court. Let the games begin. And that's a wrap for this video. What do you think about Ben Simmons settling his dispute with the 76ers? And what could be next for him? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and press that bell icon for the latest information and news like this. See you in the next one.